So, you have to make a really important decision. This is not the kind of decision where you need to find out what you're going to have for dinner. This is a decision that will impact your life, or at least you believe it's going to impact your life for, gosh, who knows how long. When you think about that decision, what happens to your body, your mind, and your spirit? Do you immediately begin to feel panicky, anxiety? Do you break out in sweat? Do you feel all tensed up and unable to really make that good decision? Well, if that's what you're experiencing right now, if that's what you are having to deal with when you think about making a decision, I have wonderful news for you, because in just a minute, I'm going to share a technique with you that the angels gave to me that absolutely saved my sanity about a decision. So we'll be right back, and I'm going to share with you how to make an empowered decision. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio to help you make your life easier.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice. Welcome everyone to Angel Heart Radio. You are our focus. We want you to know that you matter in the world and that you're important to the world. We're here to remind you of just how valuable and needed you are right now. Help us to help others. If you like what you hear, tell your friends, post, tweet, pin, let everyone know how amazing Angel Heart Radio is. So again, welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is sponsored by AngelLight777.com.
And we're back, and we're ready to learn how to make an empowered decision. Happy Mother's Day for everyone who's here with me today. And for those of you who have mothers close by that you can celebrate with, I'm so delighted for you. Have a wonderful day. If your mother is not close or has already returned to the energetic, I'm sending you a big hug. I know that your mother knows that you are missing and appreciating her. So happy Mother's Day to all. And now let's get back to looking at what we need to do to make an empowered decision. So let's break this down. We're going to actually do this procedure. And if anybody wants to call in, please understand that we are going to be working with a decision that you have to make. You don't have to share with us what the decision is, but I want you to walk through the decision-making process today. So if you're calling in, expect that I'm going to ask you about your decision. And that number is 347-202-2032. If you're calling from outside the USA, add +1. 347-202-0232. So let's take a look at what creates an empowered decision. We all know you have to make decisions. It's part of life. They can be easy decisions like, what am I going to wear today? Or they can be really life-challenging situations. Like, what do I do if something in my life is not going forward the way that I wanted it to? It can be people that I may be involved with. It might be a job or a romantic relationship. But no matter what it is, it means that it's impacting the quality of your life. And if you could make a better decision about how to move your life forward, everything would change. Now, the thing that we need to remember is that the problem, and therefore the solution, is not the other person. It's always you. What's going on with you? What's going on in your mind? What are you telling yourself that has allowed you to come to this place where you are facing a challenge? Now, let's be very clear. Just because you're facing a challenge doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. So let's right now begin from a place of understanding challenge does not equal wrong, and right doesn't mean living your life without a challenge. We come on these physical journeys for the purpose of learning, and part of the way that we learn is to face various challenges throughout our lives. So, yes, it is a good idea to take a look at how you are thinking and processing about this event, this challenge, this obstacle. But if you are not relating to it from a fear-based place, then just assume that this challenge is here to help you understand something, learn something, help you grow spiritually. And just move forward from that place of growth instead of that place of, oh, I must be bad because I've attracted this thing. Not necessarily. If you look and see, gee, I'm feeling really positive about my life. I've done a really good job of getting rid of my negative thinking or my limiting beliefs. And I'm really putting as much energy as I possibly can into staying aligned the majority of my time. So therefore, I know this challenge is just a challenge. It is not the end product of me getting all bound up in fear or negative what ifs or limiting beliefs. So right there, you know, okay, I can take a different step forward with this. If, on the other hand, you kind of tune into yourself and you realize, wow, I make most of my decisions from fear. I live my life in fear. I'm extremely negative in my thinking or my belief system. And I don't really think very highly of myself. I don't trust myself to make good decisions. You've got some work to do. You have inner blockages that are calling more situations of a similar nature. So let's just remember what happens with law of attraction. So law of attraction says like attracts like. So if you are thinking about a certain thing, let's use an example. I am thinking that I'm afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of spiders, but I had this conversation recently. So I'm believing and thinking that I'm afraid of spiders. Now, perhaps I had an adult around me that was terribly afraid of spiders, and they passed that belief system on to me. If I had never examined why I was afraid of spiders, then this would become a limiting belief for me. This is something that I just decided was true without doing any kind of checking in my own energetic system to see if that was really true for me. So that would be a limiting belief. That would be something that I had attached onto just because someone who was in a position of authority when I was younger may have reinforced that belief. Another way we acquire limiting beliefs is if it is something that you hear over and over and over again. So let's say the adult in your arena wasn't a parental figure and didn't impose that belief system on you, didn't say, I want you to stay away from all spiders because I'm so scared you're going to get bitten, or whatever they said. But let's just say that you had an adult that you were around frequently who had a fear of spiders, and every time they saw one, they would react so violently, and they would keep saying things, oh, I'm so afraid of spiders, I'm so afraid of... And it just was repetition, rote. You heard it every day. You never processed it, you just heard it every day until you began to believe that it was normal to have a fear of spiders. This would also be a limiting belief. Now let's take a look at negative thinking. Okay, negative thinking is when you are deliberately standing in your way because you don't believe that the outcome that you desire is possible. So let's use another example. Let's say that I am sick. I have a disease. And I say, I don't believe that I will ever recover from this disease. And a doctor comes in and tells me, guess what? We found a cure. I look at him and say, well, I don't believe that. The likelihood that that cure would work on me is probably 1 in a million if I persisted in my negative thinking. If I was more attached to the I don't believe it, it's not possible, or I refuse to accept it, it would be very difficult for my body to heal itself with the aid or without the aid of that medication or treatment protocol. If I am actively resisting it, I would tell my body to stay in a unhealed state. So that would be me standing in my own way because of negative thinking. And these are the ways in which we begin activating the law of attraction without realizing it. You see, every single one of us is a brilliant manifester. The problem is we are often manifesting things we don't want. So if that's you, if you have found yourself manifesting a whole host of things that you don't want, I offer a complimentary consultation. It's an angel breakthrough session, 30 minutes, where we dig down into what's holding you stuck. We look at where you are, where you want to go, and then take a look at what may be standing in your way, uncovering those hidden obstacles that are standing in your way. And I promise that before we leave this session, you will feel renewed and revitalized so that you will feel good about going after those goals that you may have just figured were way too hard. So if you need someone, a guide, a person who can see the bigger picture just because they're not part of that, of your life, schedule your breakthrough session at marciamartinthehearthealer.com. It's Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. That would be 30 minutes one-on-one with me where we just look at what's going on in your life. And I also have another option. If you want support that can be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I have just now opened a community for like-minded individuals where we are going to spend our time unpacking the spiritual journey, looking at tools, practical tips, ways to move your life forward. And we'll be looking at all those hidden things, the secret fears, secret unhappiness. Are you walking around wearing this face for society that says, I am such a success, but inside you feel lost, alone, lonely, confused, sad, angry, even resentful, or perhaps ashamed. That does not need to belong to you. We need to help you process all of that right out of your emotional body with practical spiritual tools and angelic help. We can do this together. So it's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and click on the Community tab. But right now, let's get back to that empowered decision. Because what we are doing together each week is finding an easier way to do things. When you are allowing yourself to learn the tools and the techniques that you need so that you can get rid of all of the garbage that may be holding you stuck, life just gets easier. You will have to put in the effort. There is no magic feather. You're going to have to do some work to get there. But it will be so worth it, because then life can begin rolling in a positive, abundant direction for you. And this is no exception. I absolutely guarantee you it does not matter where you have been or what you have done. You can move your life into a positive place. And one of the ways you can do it is learning how to make an empowered decision. So that's what we're talking about today. So let's break down that decision. First thing, know that your answer is always forthcoming. There is absolutely nothing valuable or useful to you that will ever be withheld. This is the thing you need to understand. I don't care what religion you are, what race you happen to be, have chosen for this life, or what sex, male or female. Nothing matters. There is absolutely no condition to the statement that says nothing that is of value to you will be withheld from you by the divine. You can absolutely bet your life that that statement is correct. If it is helpful to you, that answer is available. So, if that's really true, why does it feel as though so often that we are not getting the answer? We might pray or meditate or go to someone who we feel is a trusted advisor, but yet we just don't seem to be getting the answer. So either I'm lying or something's wrong. Well, I am absolutely telling you the truth. Nothing of value will ever be withheld from you. And to make sure that you agree with that, drop into your heart. Don't take my word for it. Ask yourself, go into the energetic space of the heart and see how that feels. Is that a truthful statement? We are all connected to the divine. Some of us have wide open connections. Others of us, through disappointment or fear or other kinds of conditioning, may have closed off our connection till it's just a tiny weeny bit. But if we really are sincere, we can feel the truth of that statement. Nothing that is for your highest good will ever be withheld. So if God isn't holding out on you, if God isn't trying to punish you or make you feel bad, why are you not getting the answers that you want? Now, the answer is really simple. If you have negative thinking, limiting beliefs, or past pain or trauma standing between you and the answer that you want, it's going to be really difficult for you to get the answer. It's not impossible, but it's going to be much easier if you're willing to go on the spiritual journey and to release yourself from the heavy burden that you're carrying right now. You can't solve problems if you're steeped in fear. Fear blocks the answers. The answer might be right in front of you, but you'll never notice because the fear has knocked you out of alignment. That's the thing that we need to remember. It's not the divine that are trying to tell you you're not good enough to get an answer. It's you that is saying to yourself, gee, I don't feel worthy, or I'm afraid I won't get the answer, or I've got all this pain and trauma that's standing between me and the answer. And the answer has to go through so much darkness to get to me that by the time it gets here, if I allow it to come through at all, I don't know if I can even interpret the answer because now it's all covered in my old patterns, my old beliefs, my own negative thinking. And it may be very distorted. Fear can distort the message you receive. That's why sometimes when you feel like, but I'm so sure that I did as I was guided to do, if it's not working out, you need to again go back within and find out, where did you disconnect? Why is it that thing that was so perfect didn't seem to work out? I guarantee you that there will be something that you have contributed to the equation that doesn't need to be there. And it's usually fear, a limiting belief, negativity, or a block that's standing in your way because of an event in your past that is still active in your energetic system and causing you a whole bunch of trouble. So, if you're experiencing pain or panic, you're out of alignment. Remember when I began, I said, how does your body react? What does your mind do? Does your mind fill with all sorts of possibilities or just go blank? Do you feel unable to make that great decision? If so, you're out of alignment. You are not receiving the answer that is forthcoming. It's not that you're not loved. It's that you are not getting the answer. So, how are we going to fix this? Well, the thing we're going to do is learn a new technique, a new tool, so that you'll be able to use your connection to the energetic realm to make really incredibly empowered decisions. Got to release the guilt, the resentment, the fear, the obligation, all of those lower vibrational reasons that you make the wrong decision. And believe me, I have made so many wrong decisions. I'm not standing in judgment of you. I'm standing here empathizing with you about how difficult it can be to make a decision. And as I said earlier, I was faced with a decision that I thought was really going to be next to impossible to make. So I went to the angels, and they gave me this decision-making technique that I want to share with you. It's 5 simple steps, but it allowed me to feel empowered, to be absolutely certain and clear. And after I had made the decision, there was no backtracking. There was no need to check in with myself. Oh gosh, I hope I made the right decision. No, I knew. I could immediately go into the peaceful place of knowing instead of the anxious place of I hope so. And believe me, I have made so many decisions from the anxious place of I hope so. Even after being on the path for all of this time, I would still find times when I would think, oh my gosh, I did the techniques that I had at that time, and they were good. But I really wasn't convinced that I had made the absolute most empowered decision possible. So I would tend to second guess, or I would think, oh, well, maybe I just didn't apply that technique correctly. Maybe I should do it again. I didn't get the peace and the certainty that I was able to receive from this. So here we go. 5 steps. I'm going to outline them for you, and then I'm going to walk you through it. So if you want to call in with a decision that you feel is just next to impossible to make, the number is 347-202-0232. If you're calling from outside the U.S., add +1. I will not be talking with you about anything except about making a decision today. So please limit your question to a decision. I'm happy to work with you and take you through the procedure, and we're all going to do that whether somebody wants to share publicly or not. But if you choose to share publicly, your comment or question has to be limited to a decision today. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is breathe. Now that might sound completely foolish, and I don't want you to spend a minute saying to yourself, oh my gosh, how stupid, of course we have to breathe. When you really understand why they are giving you the instructions, you won't see them as fluff or pretend things anymore. So when they ask you to breathe, they are saying to take a deep calming breath, or actually deep calming breaths, not just one. Continue until you really are at a place of calm. And this is so important, this place of calm, to move out of your anxious space into the place of calm neutrality, that they even suggested that if you're not able to settle down and be there with complete certainty and calmness, you are better off going and doing some physical exercise until you are so physically worn out that you would be able to sit down and participate calmly. So they're not kidding. So you have a choice. Either you calm yourself with the breath, or if you are just too anxious, and that's okay, don't go into judgment. If you're just too anxious, do some physical activity, get your heart rate up, get that breathing going, so that now you're a little bit less anxious and you can come back to this situation and use this technique from a real place of calm. Next thing you need to do is to clear your mind. Now again, they are so serious about these directions that they said, if you cannot get to a calm, clear, relaxed place where your mind is in neutral and is not throwing thousands of questions at you like a locomotive train out of order, you are instructed to write down every single thought that enters your mind until you can successfully control the thoughts and just get to a calm, clear place. Now, they were saying, and you will realize quickly how arduous this task is, and you will work much harder at getting yourself into a calm, clear, relaxed place. So if you've got thoughts all bouncing around your head and you really can't corral them at all, this will encourage you to establish discipline, because sitting down and writing out all that nonsense that's in your head is so laborious and so annoying. You will be thrilled to enter a place of neutrality where you're just in that calm Zen place and you just let go of the thoughts. You don't try to force anything. You don't look for an answer. You just enter from the place of calm. I want you to notice they're not suggesting that you walk away from the problem. Instead, they want you to do the work to overcome the I'm too anxious to sit still, or I've got too many thoughts to just empty my mind. Don't give yourself excuses. Instead, give yourself a task. Get out there and run if you're so anxious. Sit down and write out all the thoughts in your mind if you can't clear your mind. Now, once you've done this, calm, deep breath, eyes closed. Make sure that you're sitting in a comfortable chair where your feet can be on the floor and you're in a relaxed but upright position. We don't want to be laying down or sloppy about this work. You really want to take it seriously. You want an answer. Start acting as though you're ready to receive an answer. Don't play the, I'm too tired. Well, if you're too tired, take a nap and come back when you're ready to do the work. We've got to stop giving ourselves excuses and then wondering why I don't have an answer. If you don't have an answer and you're not willing to do the work, that's the answer right there. So now you're in your chair, you're doing that beautiful calming breath. You've allowed your mind to shift into neutral. And now you want to put two mental screens in your mind's eye. I'd like to see the mental screens in front of me. So it's as though I am facing them. I think it's quite difficult if you try to make them be on your head. To me, it's just easier to be looking outward with my third eye and seeing these two mental screens. And they are blank. They are just there, blank. Remember, we begin from a place of neutrality. So, create the screens and make sure that you're neutral. Once you're neutral, I want you to see two possible outcomes. So, you have decision A, decision B. And we're going to do this together, and I'll create a situation where we have to make a decision so you'll understand this. If you have more than two possible outcomes, only use two at a time. So you would have decision endpoint A, endpoint B. Let's say B wins. Well, then you have several more possible outcomes. Now you bring up the next possible one. B wins again. The next possible one. Oh, well, this time you like the outcome in position A. So now you replace the B screen with your next outcome until you've gone through all of your possible choices and you have the one that feels best to you. But that you'll understand that as we move forward. So you're in that neutral place. You have two possible outcomes on your screen. Stay in that place of non-attachment and begin feeling your way forward. Don't go in with your mind made up. Just look at the screens. Again, deep calming breath. Put your eye on the screens, your third eye, and ask yourself, which one am I being pulled toward? Perhaps it's lighting up. Perhaps it feels as though it has a string and you're attached to it by a string that's pulling you forward, or it has some sort of magnetic field and it's pulling you toward it in that way. In one way or another, and be open because none of those options may be the one that you run into. In one way or another, you will be pulled toward one of the outcomes. Allow yourself to move forward. Now, here's where you're going to begin doing the different work. I want you to begin acting as though you are a detective, which means you're going to start asking yourself the hard questions. I know when I used to make decisions, there was a part of me that always wanted to avoid the hard question, probably because I was making the decision that I felt would make someone else feel better. So I didn't want to look too deeply under the surface to find out why I was making that decision, because I was coming from a place of no self-love, and I felt that I needed to earn people's approval and their love by doing things I didn't want to do that would please them. But I'm not doing that anymore, and I encourage you not to do it either. So you're now at the screen where you felt a pull, some sort of attraction to that screen. And now we're going to begin asking the hard questions. You are the detective. So you're asking yourself why. Why does this outcome make me feel better? Now, let's say that I am still not loving myself. Well, I might say, gosh, I wouldn't have to put up with the disappointment on so-and-so's face if I go with this decision. Well, that's very telling. That's saying that you're allowing the other person to be much more important than you. Well, that may be okay if this decision doesn't impact your life in a negative way. So then you have to say, what do I gain? Well, if I gain a hassle-free half hour and I don't have to give up anything except my time, that might be okay. What will I learn? Now, this is an interesting question. What will I learn by making this choice? How will I grow? Is this helping you push your life further ahead? Do you feel that this would be a beneficial experience for you? And another question that you can ask, how does this further my life purpose? This is a really powerful question. If you are in alignment with your life purpose, then you will know what it is that you want to be doing and how you want to present yourself in the world. And that's a very important question to add into the decision-making process, because it's important to say, oh, does this represent who I am? Or am I going off in a direction that is not going to feel good later on? So that's a very empowered question to help you make that empowered decision. So you've got your two screens, you've been called to one. Now you've become the detective and asked yourself these incredibly insightful questions that help you step out beyond the ego. The ego can only operate at your vibrational level. It doesn't have vision or foresight. We need to step into the energetic realm if we really want to make a decision that includes foresight, vision, can see into the future. If you just want to see how it's going to impact you right now as an ego-bound being, then, gosh, Don't consult with the angels, because they see the big picture, and they see your authentic self, and they see your beautiful beingness, and they want to help you see it as well. So they are going to expose when the ego is trying to make a bid for survival and when it isn't for your highest good. So now you've become a detective. How do you feel about the decision that pulled to you, that pulled you to it? Does it still feel good? Do you feel comfortable with all of those answers that you made? Do you feel that you could answer those questions honestly and without trying to hide in some way? You can't hide from yourself, not from your authentic self. So you have to make sure that you're able to answer the questions and still feel good and empowered. If not, don't go any further with this decision-making process. Now I want you to instead go back to the beginning, to your place of neutrality, and take a look at the other decision, the decision that you felt wasn't pulling you, and again ask those same questions. It doesn't matter how many times you have to go back and forth. Don't put yourself in a race. What you want to do is make sure you're really getting clear and certain about the outcome that you desire. So in the beginning, you may still be a little clouded, and you may have started yourself off on the wrong path. That's okay. Go back and begin again, and keep doing it until you can get through the questions, and feel good about the decision. Now we're going to finalize our choice. Remember, you still have two outcomes. So you're going to need to make sure that you have chosen the outcome that truly will bring you your highest good. Now, this does not mean, we have to be clear here as well. Highest good isn't always easiest path. If it is time for you to grow, if you've been sitting in your cocoon for too long, it may feel a little uncomfortable to be pushed out of your comfort zone, but it will be for your highest good. So don't get that confused. So now we're going to finalize the choice. So go back to the beginning, back to your place of neutrality. Walk to the screen of your choice. When you arrive, I want you to give yourself a minute to feel the impact of that decision. You've made that decision. Feel what it feels like. Do you feel joyful? Do you feel overwhelmed, confused, lost, uncertain? Or do you feel empowered and as though you have grown from making this decision? There are no right or wrong answers. We are searching for the right decision. Please answer these questions honestly with yourself. So you've allowed yourself to feel the full impact of this decision. You're standing right up next to that screen. Now, move beyond it. So it's as though you have moved yourself into the future of your future. So the decision would be something that is going to be happening in your future, because at this present moment, we're merely in the process of making the decision. Now I want you to move ahead. So you're in the future of your future. The decision has already been made. And when you turn around, you are looking at the life events that have occurred now that you made that decision. So allow yourself to get out far enough in front, let's say 6 months, so you can look back and see what has happened to your life in the 6 months since you made that decision. You won't have to do anything. Those events will just show up like they're on a timeline, because the angels will help you and provide them with you. And they will provide them in the way that you receive answers from the divine best. So if you are clairaudient, you may hear them tell you about the events that have transpired. If you are clairvoyant, you may see them like they're dotted along a timeline. And if you are clairsentient, a feeler, you may just feel what happens. And you'll know whether you're feeling uplifted and excited and delighted, or whether you're feeling, oh my gosh. This is what you are going to experience as a result of the decision that you've made. This is you living with the decision. So, how do you feel? What does your life look like? And do you feel robust and healthy, or weak and filled with fear? One thing we need to remember is that the angels are always near, and they act as our support team. So if at any time during this exercise you feel lost, stuck, or confused, or any of the negative vibrations, even if you're feeling uncomfortable, oh, I'm not sure how to do this, or this doesn't feel good, ask the angels for help. And it's as easy as saying, angels, please help me make this decision. Support me in making this decision. Help me to see what I need to see in order to make this decision. Those are all ways that you can ask the angels to help you. But you want to make sure that you are assuming an empowered position when you come to do this work. So you've stepped away from the fear. You have disciplined yourself, body and mind. You've agreed to stay in a harmonious balance. You're not bouncing around like a ping pong ball, waiting for some answer to magically pop up. You allowed yourself to get into a place of neutrality. You felt your way forward. You've asked why, and then you've reflected on your life post-choice. And then you will know with certainty that you have made an absolutely incredibly empowered decision. So now we've only got a few minutes left, and I want everyone to join me as we go through this exercise. So, for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to be choosing to make the choice between two different jobs. And let's make this as hard as we possibly can. So we have job A, which is a six-figure salary, and it is working in the field for which you have trained. Let's make you a college graduate. And work that you have been doing for the last couple of years. So this would not take a whole lot of learning on your behalf. This would be fairly easy for you to do. Okay? Job B, also six figures. This is your passion, but it's not something that you have been doing for the past couple of years. This would be you stepping into who you really are, into your authentic self. It might mean extended hours. It might mean that you need to do more study to really expand yourself in order to do well at this job. That's job B. So you have the job possibility of the one that you've trained for and the field that you've been successful in, but you may just not feel all that excited about the field anymore. And on the other side, you have the job that you may have to do further training in order to excel in, that you are completely passionate about, but you've not worked in this field before, and it may mean extended hours. So there are pluses and minuses on both sides of the column here. On the one side, you get a lovely salary for doing something that you do well and that you know how to do. On the other side, you get a lovely salary, but you may have to overextend yourself in the beginning to learn more. However, you have the added benefit of being able to do something that you're passionate about, and that's when work doesn't really feel like work. So we're going to close our eyes, take a deep, calming breath. Let's use the heart breath. Heart breath connects us with the divine and begins clearing out all resistance in the heart. Breathing in through the nose, we allow the breath to first activate the energetic midbrain area, that psychic center, and then we allow the breath to travel down through the chakra system to the heart and entering from the back of the heart and pushing the energy forward. We allow the breath to release any resistance that we may be having toward this procedure. In through the nose, down through the chakra system, moving from the back of the heart forward, we release resistance. It is as though we are breathing or exhaling through the heart. Obviously, we cannot really exhale through the heart, but we can see the energy moving in our mind's eye and allow this to happen. So we're bringing the breath, the energy up through the nose to the psychic midbrain, that psychic center, down through the chakra chute, and now out through down to the back of the heart chakra and out, moving through, and then out through the front of the heart chakra to encourage any stuck energy, any stale energy to get moving, to get clear, so that you're not having to deal with it when you're making this decision. So let's take 3 deep heart breaths. You'll feel your body relaxing even further with each breath that you take. Get into a state of non-resistance. Just allow your body to relax. And now, as the body begins to relax and the mind joins in its state of relaxation, allow the mind to clear, to go to a place of non-thought, a gentle place of welcoming, love, and joy. When you're ready, you will create in your mind's eye 2 separate movie screens. They're easy for you to see. It's very clear. And this is very easy for you to do. Now you're going to put job A on the movie screen on the right. Job A is the job you've trained for, that you're used to doing. Job B, you'll place on the left. Job B is your passion, your life purpose, and may require extra work and extra training because it's outside of your realm of being. Just allow yourself to see yourself in either one of these jobs, one at a time, Do a careful review of what your life would look like and feel like if you said yes to job A. Do you feel joyful? Do you see yourself happy, empowered, feeling free? Now let's take a look at job B. Do you feel a sense of satisfaction, of completion, of joy, of, wow, I'm so glad I made this choice? Whichever one gives you that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I made this choice, I want you to allow yourself to come closer to that screen, either A or B. Just move yourself up closer to the screen. Remember, you can do this as many times as you need to. So don't be afraid to move in one direction or another. Just follow the guidance of your heart. Allow yourself to be pulled toward one screen or the other. And now, while you're in front of the screen that feels like the better choice, I want you to ask yourself the following questions. Why does this outcome make me feel better? Well, I chose to go with the life purpose choice because I really want to feel fulfilled. I don't mind doing the extra work. When I'm passionate about what I'm doing, it never feels like work to me. I'd much rather be really involved and really have my mind and my heart and my being wrapped around something that feels great to me than just going through the motions of a job that I really don't care for. And the money, it's just not that important to me. I'd prefer my happiness because I've learned that the money will follow when I'm happy. Okay? What do I gain? I gain a feeling of freedom, a feeling of, oh my gosh, this is what I've been wanting to do for so long. I finally said yes to my heart. I've said yes to my joy. What will I learn? Well, I am answering the call of my authentic self. This means that the spiritual realm is going to open up to me in new ways. My spiritual journey will deepen and become even more interesting and intricate. I love to learn about the spiritual world. So I will get to learn all those things about which I'm passionate. How will I grow? Well, I'm taking that step outside of my comfort zone. I'm getting away from the training that I thought was going to see me through my working years, and I'm stepping into new territory. I might even have to retrain for this new territory. So I'm going to be learning so much. And how will this further my life purpose? This is me finally stepping into my life purpose. So I could not be more excited about having this opportunity. Alrighty. So, wow, that feels really good to me. So far, my choice to go with screen B is really feeling empowered. I'm really feeling as though, yes, no matter how much effort I have to put in, it's going to be worth it. It won't even feel like effort. So now I'm going to go back to my beginning spot, my place of neutrality. Taking another deep heart breath or 3 heart breaths, whatever you need in order just to return to that place of calm centeredness. Let's take another look at choice A and see if we feel any pull toward choice A. At this moment, I do not. I feel still very confident that B is right for me. Now I am approaching the mental screen B, And as I arrive, I assume the mantle of responsibility that comes with this job. I realize that I will have to devote more time, more resources, and more of me if I'm going to effectively do this job. How does that feel? It's certainly a bigger responsibility than I have held in the past. Am I comfortable with that? These are all the kinds of things I have to feel out. We have to be honest. Don't sugarcoat. This is not the time to sugarcoat. You are experimenting. So be honest. So I have made that decision. It feels good. I can see myself actually expanding in the spiritual realm. Now I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going into the future's future, 6 months ahead, and I'm going to stop and now turn around. I've made this decision. I'm living with this decision, and I'm determining the results of this decision by looking back. So what do I see? I see incredible growth. I see me actually changing size spiritually. I see a lightness. I see a lighter, brighter auric resonance. I see joy. I see heart expansion. I see a being that is really thrilled that they made the choice to go with the thing that the job that would offer the opportunity to fulfill my life purpose. So I'm going to come back again to the neutral place, knowing that I'm going to choose job B. I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to ask more of myself, perhaps than I've ever asked before. But it's going to be for my highest good, and it's going to bring me an incredible amount of joy. I didn't sugarcoat it. I know that it may require extra hours. I may be giving up some free time, some leisure time, or some time with my family. But it still feels like the right decision for me at this time because I did the work, I asked the questions, I played detective, and I went beyond the decision to see how it was going to impact me. Now, if feeling like you're taking time away from your family is something that you need to consider in your decision. Let's say you have small children. Mine are all grown, so that didn't factor into my decision. But when my children were small, that would have been a major part of my decision. You would have to factor that into your detective questions. How will it feel if I take a lot of time away from my family? Am I prepared to do that? Will that feel okay to my heart? How will my family react? These are the kinds of things that the angels can help you show and feel your way forward. So your detective questions don't have to be anything like mine. They have to be what feels best to you. But let me tell you, after using this for a decision that had nothing to do with a job, but a decision that would impact my life significantly, I can tell you it was the most powerful experience I could ever have. It gave me such peace, such calm, and such freedom. I really want to encourage you to use this technique. And of course, if you're having trouble with this, message me for your consultation. You probably have deeper blocks that need some additional work. I'll be happy to help you uncover that for you. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. Marcia spelled M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. So everyone, thank you all for being here and for participating in our decision making. I guarantee you, if you use this technique, it will absolutely change your life. You will be able to move forward, making those decisions with ease, calm, and certainty. So, until next Sunday, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.